Hi guys, welcome to Will and Tom's Excellent Adventure. I'm Tommy and I'm here to show you guys how to do a Rewana bread from the start to the end. If you hear any screaming outside, it's just the mokos playing and swimming and trying to get in the house while I'm filming, but it's alright, they're alright. Okay, so there they are. Okay, so where was I? Right, so we're going to start with the basics, but first up I'm just going to tell you guys like how I do my Rewana bread is different to a lot of other people. There's just so many variations in the way this Rewana breads are done. But I'm just going to give you the basics of how to do it. You can do it however you like after that, because a lot of people like sour Rewanas. I don't. I take a little bit of that sour in the sour because it gives me heartburn, so I add sugar in when I do my Rewanas. Some people like them solid. One of the women that does her breads in town, or a couple of them, they need the bread for about 20 odd minutes, sometimes up to half an hour, just to get all the air out. A lot of people don't like them with that Swiss cheese looking at it. It doesn't worry me. I just do mine how I do mine. But this will give you a basic knowledge on it. You can do it from the beginning, follow it through, do it how I do it, and then vary it to how you want it, what your flavor is, however you want your bread done. Okay, so basically we start with the average size spud. Peelers. Yep, I'm always going to mention these peelers every time I do my cooking, because these are just the awesomest things in the world. They're not Chinese made, they are Australian made, so it's Australian stainless steel. If this, if this was a full metal jacket, you could put this in a gun, go out hunting, aim for a deer, shoot it, you'll see the deer drop, then you look over there and you'll see another deer drop, and then you look over there and you'll see another deer drop. These are awesome, these are awesome. If this was a car, everybody would be crowded around it while it's doing burnouts. I'd go, whoa, I want one of those, give me one of those, And if it was a stud, there'd be panties dropping everywhere. Nah, just kidding. Just kidding. Hey, camera lady, put your pants up. No, but I do have a few of these left. I've got a few of these left. I've got them in two sizes, large and medium. Just I'll hook you up if you give me a PM. Also, if there's a couple of people out there that want a couple of these for free, PM me or go into our page and put a comment in or whatever, and as long as you're game enough to jump on a Zoom call with me and Willie to tell us exactly what you think of these, that would be awesome. Good to get some real life things on these. But safety first, because these are really sharp, so always make sure your fingers are out of the road. Okay, so let's get started. So, starting with the basics on making a bug. So we start with a normal average size potato. And if you wanted to, you could be cooking dinner, do your spuds, leave one about that size in the pot, get all the other ones out when they're cooked, carry on cooking it until it turns to mush. Mix it in the water. There you go, you got the start. But I'm just showing you this way because I haven't got any spuds cooked. So, I'll just get all that off. Look how easy that thing peels. Wow. And this is over 10 years old, this one, which is cool. So we peeled it all. Got that little bit there to get the eyes out. Nice and clean. So I'll just give that a wash. Get rid of my mess. Okay, so what I usually do, I usually use a really small spud when I'm doing my bugs. Every third bread I make, because it starts to weaken, I'll always put potato water in it. I use a small spud. I do it like that, unless of course I've made some dinner the night before with mashed buds or whatever. Yeah, I use the juice out of it. So we'll just get that in there. As you get a bit closer to your fingers, I use a fork. Jam a fork in there. Look at that. If that was going into oil, you'd be having potato chips. They cook in really quick time when you do chips this way. Turn it around. Basically that's about all we need anyway. So what I'll do is add water to that. Get rid of that. Add a bit of water to that, put it on the oven. As you can see, throw that on there, turn it on. Basically just cook it until it's mush, and I just happen to have one here. Basically mush. So that's the start of the bread. Out of this I'm going to actually keep a little bit to put back into my bug. So I just pour a little bit out. About yay much. Oh no, too much actually. I'll keep about that much. So with this amount, I'll add about 2 tablespoons of sugar. That helps start the fermentation, and then I start adding flour to it. You can do it in a bowl. Ceramic bowls are better. I just don't have it in one decent enough size, so I'm just using this. And just start stirring it. So what I'm going to try and get out of this is a dough type consistency. Not too runny and not too solid. So bring that camera up here. See that consistency? It just needs a little bit more. It doesn't matter whether your flour stays in there lumpy, it really doesn't matter at all, because over time it's just going to disperse into it anyway. Really all you want to do is get that sugar mixed in there. And that's about it. So, just get that fork out. What we do now is just put a piece of glad wrap on top of that and then store it in a warm, dry place. Check it after a couple of days, give it a stir after a couple of days. Third day you may need to add a bit of sugar, maybe the second or third day if it isn't starting to bubble. Usually around about the 4th day, around about there it starts bubbling up. Once it starts to bubble, then you can start making your bread. It's going to be a little bit sweet because there's a lot of sugar in there, but make your bread, add a little bit of sugar during the time though. So that gets put away, and now we start our bread. Okay, so this bug here has been sitting there. I made one on Saturday. I did add some potato water in there, and I've actually got raw potato inside it just to keep the flavour up. This pot here is the one I cook it in. So it's a decent sized pot, so I use about 8 of these cups, this size cup. They're bigger than a normal one. Between 7 and 8 is, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Six. Seven. And 8. Right. So just make a well in the center. Yeah, once you finish making it, if you've got a hot water cupboard, good place to put them. It's really hot outside today, so this is going to be put outside. Okay, so to this I add about half a tablespoon of sugar and water before I fill it up to the top. This water here is probably just a bit hotter than body temp, so yeah, body temp anywhere up a little bit is good. Don't have your water too cold. So just stir it in to mix the sugar in. Sediment, because it usually settles around the bottom, so it's a little bit harder there. Once you pour it out, you see the sediment. Just got to get rid of these spuds. So these have been in there since Saturday. Today is Thursday. Oh, this one rather. You can leave them there for however long you want. I've had a spud in this bud for up to a month, 2 months actually. Okay, so she's ready to pour into this well. Alright, now you'll see in there there's still sediment in there, but you still need to add more water. So this is like just a bit of a measure up for me. I usually put about maybe about that much out of my jar. Start adding it in and start working it with my fork. I found it easier to work with a fork than a spoon, but oh well, hey, everyone to their own. So what we're going to try and do with this is add enough water in here so that we use all of the flour, as long as we can use most of the flour, or all of it that's in this bowl. Gotta get all that flour down the bottom. As you can see there, there's still a bit of flour under there, so try and get all that in. Maybe just a touch more water. Okay, and right at this point is when I put my bug back in my jar. Usually I'll have a little bit less water than that in the jar, but I'm going to be using potato water instead. So this is what I'll do. Take some of it out, chuck it in there. Get it down, and I'll try and get it up to about that much bug, around about half. A lot of people put water in their bugs and they overfill it, and you know, you've got your bug down there and then you've got your water up there. I don't do it like that because the water goes black. A lot of people think, oh well, my bug has had it because I've had too much water in there and it's been sitting too long in the fridge. You can pour it off and still make breads out of it, it's all good. Kind of how I do mine, I don't have any water sediment on the top at all. So what I do is I only use a little bit of water or potato juice, whichever's more available, you know, whichever. So that's about how much bug I have in my jar. And I'll pour a little bit of that in. And that's it. I don't touch it. I just leave it. I let all the moisture go through it and let it do its own work. Usually probably a couple hours, 2-3 hours time, this thing starts to bubble. You know it's working. You know it's still alive. So I'll put that aside. And I leave these. I usually leave this out for a couple of days, out on the bench or in the kitchen, wherever. And then I put it back in the fridge just to get a little bit more fermentation and flavour. Some people can leave it out for a week, whatever. You know, it's totally up to you how you want to do it. Okay, so we're just going to get this going again. Gonna try and mix all the flour in there. Get it all together. Do most of the kneading in the bowl. Get it together as much as we can. And then throw a bit of flour on the bench. Yeah, now like as I said earlier, some people do theirs for 20 minutes, half an hour, because they don't like the bubbles in them. They like it old school styles where it's solid. Right, but yeah, I was taught by my auntie who showed me how to. It's actually shown by my auntie and my grandmother. My auntie said when it leaves your hand, then it's ready. My grandmother used to knead hers for a little while, 10-15 minutes. I knead mine until it's smooth enough, actually. Just a couple of minutes. There you go. So that's ready to go. Now all I got to do is grease my pan with butter. I always save the packets, leave them in the fridge. And I always need the lid. Sorry, grease the lid. I've had a lot of times where I forgot and it's all spewing out the sides and I haven't greased the lid, and when I go to cook it I can't get the lid off. So that's nicely greased. And in she goes. There's your bread done. There's your bug done. There's the next one done, ready for your next bread. So all we're going to do is wait for this to rise, so we'll just pause our video and come back to you when it's risen, and then we'll get to the last stage of it. Welcome back. It's been 2 hours and 45 minutes it's taken for this to rise, and it's risen to the top. Actually it rose the went a little bit over, but it's okay, it's cool. Here's the bug that I used. It's starting to rise as well. That one there is going to take a while for it, you know, days like I mentioned. I've got the oven set at 180 degrees on bake, and it's preheated. It's ready to go. I'm going to do it for 1 hour and 30 minutes exactly. That's how long it will be in there to cook. And then as soon as it's ready, I will be back again. So hold that thought. Welcome back. Our bread is cooked after exactly 1.5 hours. So here we go. Ooh, nice and golden. Great colour. Okay, so these cloths that I'm using, they are only just used for Rewana breads. I don't use them for anything else. Oh, see that little bug? I'll wrap it up. And then I put them in these. I managed to get some of these off New World before they banned them, so I use those all the time. I managed to get a few of them. If you haven't, just I don't know, just try either wrap them with more tea towels, or yeah, or if you can find something similar to these, wrap them up. A lot of people soak the cloth, so I don't. There's enough moisture in there to soften it up, soften the bread. And there you go, one Rewana bread done and dusted. This is the bug that I made it from, and you can see that it's risen. How high it's risen up. So all I'll do is I'll stir it down before it starts to overflow. And just keep stirring it down, and I'll leave it out. I leave this out for a couple of days before it goes back into the fridge. There's the new bug. Still smells really fresh, but yeah. After a couple of days, I'll check that, and maybe add a little bit more flour, and if it's too watery, if it's too loose, and add a bit more sugar, maybe another half a tablespoon or even a tablespoon. If, just to get it running. If it's not, it might just work by itself like that. But that's how you do it, folks. That's how you make a Rewana bread. So yeah, have a go at it, and yeah, like and share. Just share it out. Share it out. Show everybody. Have a crack at it, and yeah, leave some comments in the comment section, and even just show how you get on with making your breads. It'll be good to see. And don't forget, yeah, whoever wants a free peeler, just be sure to, you know, that you're keen enough to jump on with me and Willie, you know, throw you a peeler. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and party on.